It's time to start your day with the First Cup Morning Show.
Serving up a warm cup of good news, positivity, and uplifting messages.
And now, here's your host,
Our dad,
Joshua Kangley.
Hello, friends. Good morning to you, and welcome back to the First Cup Monday Morning Show. I'm Joshua Kangley, and as always, so glad to have you here, because here is where we kick off the week with some good news and some good vibes. I like to think of it as a little break away from the noise. Happy Monday to you on this fabulous May 11th. Thank you again for joining me this morning. And as always, I do have some good news to share, and we will get to that in just a bit. But first, let's start it off with a quote. Pablo Picasso once said, "Everything you can imagine is real." Those words from Pablo Picasso feel simple at first, but the more they sit with you, the more powerful they become. Because I think Picasso was reminding us that every great creation in human history began as nothing more than an idea in someone's mind. Before there were airplanes, skyscrapers, music, inventions, businesses, or even life-changing movements, someone first imagined them. And maybe this applies to our personal lives as well. The life we hope for, the person we want to become, the dreams we quietly carry around, they all begin in the imagination before they ever become reality. And sometimes we dismiss our ideas because they seem too unrealistic or too far away. But imagination is often the first spark of possibility. It's where growth starts. It's where courage begins. Maybe the challenge isn't whether something can become real or not. Maybe the actual challenge is whether we're willing to believe in what we already can see in our minds long before the rest of the world sees it too. Now let's go to the Did You Know? Did you know that on this day, May 11th, in 1928, the first television station in America began operating in Schenectady, New York? At a time when radio was still the king, the idea of transmitting moving pictures into people's homes felt almost unimaginable. But engineers at General Electric helped make history by launching experimental television broadcasts through station W2XB. The picture quality was primitive by today's standards, and very few people even owned television sets. Still, this groundbreaking movement planted the seeds for what would eventually become one of the most influential forms of communication and entertainment in human history. From live news and sports to sitcoms, documentaries, and historic world events, television would go on to reshape culture, connect families, and change the way people experience the world. And what started as a small experimental station in New York nearly a century ago helped launch the television age we know today. Happy National Twilight Zone Day. Observed on May 11th, National Twilight Zone Day features mysterious twists and turns, highlighted with eerie background music and unexplainable occurrences. The television show The Twilight Zone was created, written, and narrated by Rod Serling. It premiered on October 1st, 1959. The episodes were wildly popular, stretched the imagination, and captivated viewers. The show aired from 1959 to 1964. Each episode presented unique stories that led the viewer on a journey into an unknown situation. The characters often revealed their backstories through intense exchanges. Settings range from the Wild West to penthouse suites. And yet each story took place in the fifth dimension, in a peculiar place called the Twilight Zone. And now it's time for some animal fun facts.
Today's animal is the pink fairy armadillo. Did you know the pink fairy armadillo is the world's smallest armadillo species, measuring only 3.5 to 4.5 inches long, and lives in central Argentina? Known as a sand swimmer for its rapid digging ability, it is instantly recognized by its rose-pink flexible shell that is barely attached to its body and acts as a radiator for temperature regulation.
Did you know the pink fairy armadillos are known as a sand swimmer? They possess enormous claws to swim through the sandy soil, allowing them to bury themselves in mere seconds.
All right, let's get to the good news of the week. A pencil, a passion, a purpose at 99. At an age when many people believe life begins to slow down, 99-year-old Nita Drott continues to prove that purpose and creativity have no expiration date. Nita didn't begin drawing until she was 70 years old, and what started as a simple curiosity evolved into a lifelong passion, one now being celebrated through an art exhibit showcasing her graphite sketches as she nears her 100th birthday. Her artwork focuses largely on people, ordinary faces, quiet moments, and strangers she encounters in everyday life. Whether in a store or out in the community, Nita simply follows inspiration when it appears. If someone catches her eye as the perfect subject for a sketch, she politely will ask their permission to draw them. And remarkably, she says no one has ever turned her down. Over the years, those sketches became more than drawings. They became snapshots of human connection, each one carrying a personal meaning for the artist behind the pencil. Those around her began to recognize not only her talent, but the message woven through her journey. Supporters helped organize a public exhibit of her work, turning a late-life hobby into a source of inspiration for countless others. Nita's story resonates because it quietly challenges the idea that it is ever too late to begin something new. Her life stands as a reminder that creativity, passion, and purpose can emerge at any stage of life, sometimes long after people expect them to. Now, nearly 3 decades after drawing her very first sketch, Nita continues doing what she loves most, capturing the beauty she sees in everyday people and encouraging others to pursue the passions they may have once thought were out of reach. Her journey is not simply about art. It's about courage, curiosity, and the enduring human ability to keep growing, no matter the number of candles on the birthday cake. You know, stories like this remind us all that life doesn't come with an expiration date on purpose. So many people believe it's too late to start over, too late to learn something new, or too late to choose a passion they've always carried quietly inside them. But Nita Drott's story challenges that way of thinking in the most beautiful way possible. At 70 years old, she picked up a pencil. At 99, she's inspiring an entire community. And maybe the real lesson this week is this: it's never about when you start. It's about staying open to the wonder, staying curious about life, and having the courage to begin, no matter your age. Because sometimes the most meaningful chapters of our lives are the ones we never saw coming. And I really hope you enjoyed that good news. And for more good news, positivity, and uplifting messages, you can always visit guidinglights.org. That's guidinglights.org. And as always, before we go, I'd like to leave you with a dad joke. What happened when 2 slices of bread went on a date? They said it was loaf at first sight. Well, friends, that's going to wrap up this week's show. I hope it brought a little light into the day and a smile on your face, ready for the week. And I challenge you now to be the reason someone else smiles this week. Have a great week out there. And remember, don't let the mainstream media fool you, because there is always good news happening all the time.